Alright, so the next thing I'd like to do is start styling my links. So first things first is let me just change the color, because right now those are a bit difficult to see. So I'm just going to add maybe color gray. Let's see if that does it. Did I spell that wrong? I know what I'm doing wrong here. I need to actually target links in there. So let me do nav menu LIA, right? Because they have to be the anchors. There we go. Beautiful. So now those should be a bit easier for everyone to see in the video. It'll be easier for me to see as well. And I'm also going to get rid of the text decoration, right? That's the attribute that's given the underline over here. So let me add text decoration, and then we'll do none. Okay, perfect. So now let's see. One of the effects that I had on there, here's the finished one, is that when you hover over it, the background color changes slightly. So let me start by actually setting everything up for my links to style. Now remember, we have that love-hate thing going on when we're styling links, right? So I'm just going to take this code and just kind of copy it a couple of times, because that's what we're going to look at and do. So love is link, L, and then V is visited, and then the H is hover, and A for active. And I just set these up like this right away, just to just getting ready, because I'm going to style them all. And that way I know I could keep the order right from the beginning. And actually, if we look at this, this is also for the links, right? But we didn't have to add the pseudo classes at the end for it, because that's going to basically give the style out to all of those guys. Now let's see. So I said, okay, when we hover on it, we want the background color. Let's see, background. We'll find color to. I'm going to pick a color from the color picker over here. We'll pick this gray, so it makes it a little bit lighter. Let's see what that looks like. This is the finished one. Okay, here's the work in progress. So when we look, okay. Well, that's what I wanted to do. Although, you know what I think I want just altogether? A little more spacing, a little more breathing room. I wonder if I could just add right there, since to the link I'm adding, let's see, 2 pixels padding around everything. So let's see what that does. You see it kind of gave things a little more spacing. Let's see if I add, well, let me add 4. Let's see what happens there. I'm only trying to, okay. And look what happens now. If you look closely, it kind of goes a little bit beyond the link altogether, which, I don't actually have a problem with that, because I think that could work. If you don't like that, I mean, for me, it's sticking out a little bit is fine, because ultimately one of the things that I do is add that color down there, as you see. But if you don't like that, let's just talk about dealing with that if that's not what you intend. What's happening here is when I add padding without adding top, bottom, left, or right, then it's going to basically add that padding 4 pixels in each direction, including the bottom. So what I could do instead is, I'll show you a CSS shorthand for padding. CSS shorthand is, let's see, top, right, bottom, left. And if you think about it, this goes clockwise. So none of these tags are actually going to work. I'm just writing it down for you to see. What we could do is, we like that 4 pixels at the top, so we'll go 4 pixels at the top. On the right, we could do the 4 pixels, which is fine. The bottom, we want to figure something out for that edge. So we'll do 0 pixels down that bottom because we didn't want it to spill over. And here we do 4 pixels. And if we refresh this, look at that. So now we got it, but we lost that extra, which we can actually change this to 2. See what that looks like. Ooh, I think we could actually maybe even put a 3rd pixel over here and take a peek at it. And look at that. Now with those 3 pixels, it fits perfectly. All right. I mean, that was pretty easy to do. And now let's consider spacing these things a little bit more between each other. Now, you want to be careful because if you could add like padding left to something, right? What would you add that padding left to? I think what you'd add that padding left is right here to the nav menu LI. Let's go 36 pixels. And let's see what, you see now these guys are spaced. And I'm kind of winging it because since these things are all different, you know, honors is shorter than in width and employment and biography and all that because it's less letters. If you could see, the kind of the space between biography over here and at the end of publication is not completely even. And I could just, you know, I'm not going to kill myself getting that perfectly centered. But if I mess with the padding over here a bit, I could make it to something a little bit closer. Alright, so I am pretty close to being done with this navigation menu, but you see that over here on the left is my navigation, and I still have this little border action that needs to happen. And really all that is a border, bottom border happening when the visitor hovers over the list item. So I'm going to find my list item right there, my hover actually, and then when I click that, one of the options down the way is border, and I'm going to deselect all of these because I want a different style and width. I don't want them for all of them. Actually, this doesn't matter so much, but at least for the bottom style, I want a solid. As far as the width, I think 3 is the width that I want over there. And the color, I don't know, just let me make it blue just for and look at that. So that's pretty simple. Actually, I could change the width to whatever I want on the actual bottom border width. I think if I put 13, it's just going to go a little further down. That's a bit much, but pretty easy technique over there, and kind of adds a little more of a visual cue for the visitor to let them know what they're hovering over.